Have you ever been branded the neighborhood villain, just for preparing for the worst? What if the same HOA president who fined you for an eyesore shed suddenly decided your emergency supplies belonged to her community during a life-threatening blizzard? And how delicious would it feel to watch her entitlement freeze solid when you finally turn the tables? Let me paint you the picture of Oakwood Estates, that cookie-cutter slice of American suburbia where the grass is always the approved shade of green and the rules are stricter than airport security. On the surface, it's all white picket fences and friendly waves. Underneath, it's a dictatorship run by our beloved HOA president, Karen Whitaker. For 3 long years, this woman had made it her personal mission to make my life miserable. It all started when I built my supply shed in the backyard. You know, the kind every smart family in blizzard country needs. Non-perishables, water, batteries, generator, fuel cans, the full fortress. Karen spotted it during one of her neighborhood inspections and lost her mind. At the next board meeting, in that fake sweet voice dripping with concern, she announced, "The shed violates our aesthetic covenants. It's bringing down property values and shows a lack of community spirit." The rumors flew faster than the fines. She whispered to everyone that I was a selfish doomsday prepper who didn't care about the collective. "He's hoarding while the rest of us follow the rules," she'd say in the group chat. Neighbors stopped inviting me to block parties. I became the guy who got side-eyed at the mailbox. I was slandered, misunderstood, painted as the antisocial threat. But I stayed quiet. I paid the ridiculous fines. And I kept stocking that shed like my family's safety depended on it. Because it did. Last fall, the news started screaming about the storm of the century. Feet of snow, winds that could knock down trees, power outages predicted for weeks. I did my usual prep run, double-checked the generator, organized the shelves. Felt pretty damn good about it. Then Karen cornered me one evening while I was raking leaves. "Alex, darling," she cooed, all pearls and perfect lipstick. "With the big storm coming, the board and I have been discussing community resilience. Some residents aren't as. It would be so neighborly if you contributed your excess supplies to our emergency redistribution plan." It wasn't a request. Her eyes had that hungry gleam. I kept it polite. Enough for my family. Everyone should prepare their own. Her smile tightened. Article 14 of the Covenants, in declared emergencies, the HOA has authority to coordinate resources for the greater good. Think of the children, Alex. I wanted to laugh. Who fined me $500 for my shed being too visible. Now she wanted my stuff. I muttered something non-committal and escaped inside. But I knew this wasn't over. The storm hit like a freight train. And see the street. Power died within hours. My generator hummed to life, keeping our house warm and lit while the neighborhood went dark. We played games, ate hot soup, felt safe. Day 2, my phone buzzed. "Alex, my power is out and it's freezing. The board has voted. Applies immediately for essential redistribution. This is not optional." Attached was some nonsense email she drafted citing bylaws. I texted back calmly, "Sorry, Karen. My family comes first. And cans if you need." Her reply was instant venom. Standards. You're harming your neighbors with your hoarding mentality. The HOA will remember this. I didn't respond. Later that afternoon, while checking snow from the back window, my stomach dropped. Fresh footprints cut through the deep drifts straight from her house to my shed. The door. I'd forgotten to fully latch it after grabbing extra fuel earlier, was cracked open. This wasn't borrowing. HOA queen, attempting to loot my shed under the cover of the storm. I could hear faint rustling inside, her muttering, "He won't miss a few boxes. It's for the neighborhood anyway." Rage boiled, but I stayed smart. Boots and jacket, and crept out quietly. The snow muffled my steps. As I got closer, I could see her through the gap, stuffing my emergency food boxes and even the kids' snacks into a sled, her designer coat getting covered in snow. I slammed the heavy door shut with a boom that cut through the wind. Click. I threw the bolt and snapped the padlock tight. "Hey, what the hell?" came her muffled shriek. "Karen," I called through the door, voice steady. "You're trespassing on my property and stealing from my family during an emergency. I have security cameras rolling. Police are being called right now." Her tone flipped from bossy to panicked in a heartbeat. "Alex, this is ridiculous. I was just coordinating for the HOA. Let me out this instant. It's freezing in here." I dialed 911, explained calmly. "Break-in at my shed during state of emergency by a known individual." Secured the scene, coming despite the weather. I went back inside, poured coffee, and watched the shed from my warm window. For the next hour, it was pure entertainment. Karen pounded on the door, screamed every insult, then switched to pleading. "You can't do this to me. I'm the president. This violates every covenant." Her voice cracked from the cold. The irony was thick. The woman who lived by rules was now breaking them all while trapped in the very shed she hated. Through the swirling snow, blue and red lights finally appeared. The police SUV, specially equipped for deep snow, plowed down the street. 2 officers trudged up to my door. I showed them the text, the camera footage on my phone proving she was looting, the footprints. They nodded professionally. "Ma'am, this is the police." One officer called at the shed. They unbolted the door. Shivering, mascara running, immediately launching into full Karen mode. "Officers, thank God. This man has assaulted me and violated my rights. I was performing official HOA duties to redistribute resources for the community during this crisis." The lead officer glanced at the box of my stuff by the door, then at his partner. "Ma'am, we have video of you loading his personal property without permission. Trespassing and theft during a declared emergency are serious charges. Especially when you're the one always preaching about rules." She sputtered. "And the bylaws give me authority. He's the selfish one. He's been a problem resident for years." But the evidence was damning. Rummaging and talking about how I'd never notice and how it was fair. The texts where she demanded my generator per HOA vote, which never happened, sealed it. They cuffed her right there in the snow. "This is outrageous. I'll sue the entire department. You'll all hear from my lawyer." As they led her away, she shot me one last hateful glare. The satisfaction hit like warm cocoa. The aftermath was better than any movie. The police report was ironclad. Because it happened during the emergency declaration, charges were upgraded: burglary, theft, trespass. The HOA board held an emergency meeting without her. Other neighbors finally spoke up about years of her abuse. Selective enforcement, using fines to bully people she didn't like, even pocketing some association funds. The body cam footage from the cops somehow leaked in the group chat. Karen's perfect image shattered. Unanimous vote. Court dates followed. Ironic, huh? A criminal record and a fat fine. Her house went on the market 2 months later when the snow melted. Last I heard, she moved to another state. The new board actually relaxed some of the stupid rules. My shed? No more complaints. Neighbors started asking me for prep tips instead of avoiding me. Turns out, when you expose the tyrant, the village breathes easier. I still double-check that padlock every single time. But more than that, I learned something deeper. People like Karen don't just love rules. They love the power to break them whenever it suits their narrative. They hide behind community and standards while hoarding control. The real heroes are the quiet ones who prepare, observe, and strike back with cold, hard facts when the mask slips. In this crazy world of suburban dictators, sometimes the sweetest sound is a padlock clicking shut on someone who's spent years trying to lock you down. The real takeaway: never let entitled power trippers disguised as community leaders steal your peace or your preparedness. Stand calm, document everything, and watch justice lock them in their own mess. Good fences and stronger locks really do make better neighbors.